Ladies and gentlemen, don't adjust your clock and everything. It's okay. Terry's just filling in for a fella. This is the United States High School Champions League starting 11 on a Monday with Terry Michler, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, it's Monday, not Friday. Let me wake up, Kevin. Give me a break there. I got to put everything in reverse from the end of the week to the beginning of the week.
Boom, boom.
All right, let's give it a go here. Let's see how it works out.
All right, then.
First on my list, this isn't one of my five, but first on my list is a mandatory shout out to Maddie DiMaria. Everybody's talking about her. Two-time Gatorade National Player of the Year. And only as a junior in high school. She won it first as a freshman. I'm not sure how she missed it as a sophomore, but apparently she did. But she rebounded this year to become the National Player of the Year again. I just saw a little write-up on her, and her resume includes playing with the national teams starting at under 14, 15, 16, currently 17. That's a resume, right? That's pretty special. And knowing a little bit about her family situation, I coached her dad in high school, back when he was in high school, and I knew his dad, so I knew her dad and her grandfather, and I know from what she comes. I know that the stock, as they say, is very, very good. She is, I think, the third of four in the family, all high-level soccer players. The mom and dad were college players. The dad played some professional. So they have it in the genes there. There's no doubt about it. She has just risen to the top, and I'm sure it's a combination of genetics, hard work, good family support. But all in all, I mean, as good a player as she is, she's every bit as good of a person. And she's been really a credit to high school soccer by choosing to play, number one, by performing at the level that she does, number two, and the credit she gives to high school in her development, number three, and number four, how much she enjoyed playing with her classmates and representing her school. If Maddie DiMaria can do it, you know what? Anybody else can do it. Yep. Think about what she says about why she did it. Look at her why, and ask yourself, you know, can't you do that? Don't those things matter to you? Because the pathway, to be honest, the pathway to the tip top is so limited. Very, very few make it, but everybody has a chance to play at the high school level, represent your school, play with your teammates, and build lifetime memories. I feel sorry for the ones that give that up because they cheat themselves of an experience that they're never going to get again. You know, and life is short. Experiences are even shorter. Opportunities are even shorter than that. And when you miss out on a big one, you don't get it back. You know, and that's unfortunate because everybody goes through the education process and you go to high school. It's mandatory. You have to go, right? And in that, then you meet classmates. And, you know, if you're one of the many that graduate, you have a graduation class. You have reunions. You get back together again. And more often than not, reunions are about talking the good old times. And a lot of it has to do with classroom incidents. But as much of it has to do with sports. And, you know, so you have an opportunity to either make that or miss out on it. So all this is just kind of a tribute to Maddie for her choosing to do what so many of us see as being a very important step in the developmental process of the person as much as the player. And Maddie has chosen to do it in the right way and still maintain the standard of being selected and recognized outside of the academic scene and play on a national level in her age group and get a national award. So I think all that is just due for her accomplishment and for the person that she is. So whatever amount of time it took, I don't apologize. I think every word was meaningful. Congratulations, Maddie. Well done. Congrats to the whole DiMaria family, Jeff, the father, and the mother. Great job. Great job. All right, now on with the show, as they say. You know, right to that. Your ex world, right, Kevin? Your former world. On with the show.
Right on.
Normally on this starting 11 segment, I've been talking about World Cup, and I'll do that again on Friday because that's my time. But I'm filling in today, so I'm going to talk about Champions League, but I'm going to tie the World Cup in with it. So, what the World Cup shows us some of the same kind of principles that we adhere to in the Champions League. So my program today is going to revolve around the 5 pillars of the Champions League and actually relate them to the World Cup as well. So we have 5 principles that govern the Champions League. And this is extremely important because it keeps things consistent and universal. You know, what do you got to do to be in the Champions League? Well, here they are. 5 things. If you're interested and willing to accept these 5, then we can talk about, you know, making a situation available. First of all, it's free. And by free, nobody pays, okay? And we know today's sporting world, youth sports gets to be extremely expensive with club fees, travel, lodging, accommodations, and all that stuff for out-of-town trips. It gets to be it actually becomes cost prohibitive for many people, many athletes, right? So the Champions League is free. We get sponsors to help offset the cost, and it doesn't cost this team or the school anything to participate. Point number 1. Point number 2, it's merit based. What does that mean? Well, it means you can't raise your hand and say, "Yeah, I want to join." You can't send a check in and say, "Yeah, sign me up." You have to qualify in one way or another. In the World Cup that we're watching now, is we're watching the final result of a long-term process to produce these teams that have arrived here today. Every one of these teams had to go through some kind of a regional qualification to get to this point where they are today. The only teams that were exempt of that were the host countries. In this case, we had the U.S., Mexico, and Canada as the host countries. They got free passage. Everybody else had to earn their way, had to qualify. The third principle of the Champions League is that it's metro-based. And metro-based means you have to stay within whatever boundaries you accept and consider as your metro area. Example and point, in St. Louis, our metro base does not include the near adjacent southern Illinois area, which is just across the river and probably as close as some of the outlying area schools that we have in St. Louis County. But we keep it to the metro St. Louis area, St. Louis City and St. Louis County. Now, projecting this on the World Cup level, every team is represented by people that qualify as being representing their country. And I saw a stat where currently in this World Cup, only about a third of the players on all the teams are actually come from that country. But you can get into the World Cup if you have relatives, parents, and grandparents that were in that country. You yourself don't necessarily have to participate. Example for the U.S. team, this Balogun, that's the striker. He was born in the U.S. His family was here. The parents are from Nigeria. Whatever reason they were here. She was here pregnant, about to give birth, and they would not allow her to leave to go back to London where they were at because she was pregnant. So she was forced to stay here. She stayed here about a month, and then went back to London. And that's probably the only time that a particular player spent time in the U.S. Other than that, he was basically an English player. From age 8 on, he grew up in the Arsenal Academy. But because he was born in the U.S., that gives him rights to play for the U.S. So that example goes across the board in many different situations. So that's part of the metro-based area, so to speak. Fourth point in the pillar is coach collaboration. In each of our areas, it's the coaches that decide how they're going to run the show. What's the format going to be? How many teams you're going to have in? What are you going to do for gameplay? What are you going to do for scoring? How are you going to arrange your playoff situation? Coaches get together and work all that out in their own area. So there's no set formula. There's no set format. It's open to whatever each area sees fit and works best in their area. So it's free to play. It's merit based. You got to earn it. You got to qualify. It's metro based. You got to be in a certain area, and it's coach collaboration where the coaches decide together how to make it work. And then the fifth and final point is student empowerment. And student empowerment means that by providing an opportunity for high school kids to participate in this, they get recognition. And since it's free, those that couldn't afford to pay to play still get the opportunity to play and to get recognized, and quite possibly because of that, get recognition and get the benefit of being able to showcase their talents and maybe pursue to a higher level. Give you an example. In this current World Cup, there's a player on Ivory Coast, 19-year-old player named DiMaria. DiMaria, 3 years ago, at age 16, was playing high school soccer in Florida. He was recognized and was able to move up into a higher league, UPSL. And from then, he was recognized again and moved to a higher league and ended up playing in Europe. And currently has like a $90 million transfer fee and is supposedly being considered by other clubs now for even a higher price than that. So student empowerment, allows something like that to happen. We've got our Santiago Castaneda coming out of Florida, who was a Champions League player and a Virtuoso Award winner. Back then, I think it was called Most Valuable Player winner. Currently playing in Germany, and his team just got elevated through playoff to play in the Bundesliga next year. So that's what student empowerment can do. This can give you an opportunity as a student that you might not get elsewhere to get recognized. So that's my spiel for the day. Kudos to Maddie, DiMaria, and then a review of the 5 principles and how some of those relate directly with the World Cup. So, Kevin, I think I'm done.
Oh, well, it's just over. It's 13:55.
I'll take it because I overextended on Maria.
Oh, wonderful, baby! All right.
No apologies. No apologies for that.
No, not at all, man. God. All right then, man. What a beautiful way to go. What a beautiful way to start the week. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been listening to the United States High School Champions League starting 11 or thereabouts with the great Terry Michler and Kevin Whalen. So long, Terry.
Thanks, Kev. Appreciate it. Bye.
Talk to you Friday.